movie Host. If you have not seen this movie, stop what you're doing and go watch it. Do not conjure any spirits. Jemma, how are you tonight, man? I'm so excited that you're on the show. We loved the movie. All of us loved it. Like, and it's rare that we all like one film all together. We don't have anything bad to say about it. So, Jemma, well done. How are you?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, guys. I am good, thanks. I'm so glad everyone liked it. Was
Oh,
there did you have any debates like over like anything that you saw in it, or did you just come together and were like, yeah, yeah,
Horo had mentioned it. Like, you guys will check this movie out, and we all watched it, and we were like, that was a good fucking movie, man. That was great. And we watch so many horror films. We had to review them, and we could bring the actors and directors, and they're all pretty good. We have but there's every now and then you get that film that just jumps right out and like really love this film. And Jemma, this film would not have been so good if it wasn't for you ruining it for everybody in the seance and making fun of the spirits. so,
oh,
so I want to just kind of back up a little bit and kind of talk about how you got involved in Host.
So we're all friends. We have like a quarantine movie club WhatsApp group, and every Wednesday we do like a film quiz with the Prince Charles Cinema in London, and we watch Netflix parties pretty much every other night, and then occasionally on the Saturday night we'll try and do a board game. And so we've just been doing this like everybody else during the start of lockdown, and then one day we get a call from Rob Savage. A text being like, guys, can you come on Zoom? Is everyone going to come on Zoom? And I just had my car vandalized and I had blister plasters all over my spots. So I was like, look, guys, I just don't really want to do a Zoom. And then Jed Shepherd, the writer of Host, was like, Jemma, everybody wants to see you specifically. And my ego went, oh, okay, yeah, sure, guys, I'll come on. And then, and then basically, Rob pranked us. And he did this whole thing with a goblin in the attic, and with everything going on in the world, the next logical step in my brain was, yeah, of course, goblins are real. Why not?
Mhm.
And from there, it went viral. And then Rob and Jed were like, girls, could you come on another Zoom chat? And we were all like, no way, no, absolutely not. And then we did finally get on the Zoom chat, and all of us came on like in ball gowns because we're like, we're not going viral again with blister plasters on our spots. And then they asked us if we wanted to be a part of this Host seance film that they had an idea for. And then we went and did a real life seance. And then the ball just, 12 weeks went by incredibly quickly. And now I'm here talking to you guys, which is amazing.
How are you handling just? I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, I had not heard of you until this film, right? So I'd imagine that all I see on my Twitter feed is host, and Jemma and Rob and all this great stuff. How are you handling just this wave of popularity of the film and the roles that each of you guys have played? Like, how is it affecting your day-to-day life?
I mean, I still get up in the morning and put like my tracksuits on and take my dog for a poop around the corner, and then come home and try and make a decent coffee because I haven't been to a coffee shop in a while. So it's pretty much been the same for me at home.
Mhm.
Apart from I actually got stopped in the street yesterday, which for me is always like, oh, they want to see the dog. But actually, this was like, oh, you're in Host. So that was really nice. The horror community has been freaking awesome. Like, I love you guys. Like, you've been welcoming us with open arms and
Mhm.
just having good banter. And it's really fun to be like, yeah, I'm the one that set it all up, and I'll be like, it's Haley's fault, and just having this banter with everyone. It's been really fun, and just having everyone enjoy a film that we did as friends together,
Mhm.
making it and coming up with ideas, and having Shudder have been awesome. We had so much freedom. So like Rob could and Gemma Hurley and Jed Shepherd as the writers, they could have anything that they kind of wanted. And then Rob and Douglas Cox, our producer, then were like, let's try this, let's try this. We were coming up with ideas as we were going on along.
Mhm.
So having that received so amazingly just kind of makes you remember what it's all about and what filmmaking's all about and what creating's all about. And it's just been wonderful. And we had Will Wheaton yesterday, you know, Facebook about it, and you're just kind of like, oh, that's so nice. Like, I like you and you like us now. So it's really humbling, and humbling in a weird way. Like, it's like, oh yay, that's
Well,
good. Like, what we're doing is
don't forget it.
scare.
Don't echo there. Don't forget us single people. I'm going to pass it on over to Chris to go ahead and take over. I'll come back around. I have 1,000 questions, but I want to make sure I share. So go ahead, Chris, take it away.
Hey, Jemma, good morning or good afternoon, depending where you are. Hey, we didn't really have debates. You were wondering if we had debates about the movie. We started all texting each other, and I think we all agreed that you were our favorite character, and you're a better person because of it, believe me. We're that guy that's going to come on, not take things 100% serious, maybe throw in a little brevity, and all of a sudden, apocalypse rains down. In real life, are you also the Jemma we saw in Host?
I am a little bit. I'm a bit of a like, I'm gonna just ask that one more question, or I have these fun, silly questions in my head, and there's one side of my brain going, shush, don't open your mouth, and then the other side's like, go on, and then I'll say it. So, I mean, I'd like to think I have a little bit more self-control, but I'm definitely got that like naughty. I'm gonna see what happens if we mess with the system here, which I obviously know from every film that I've ever watched is where things go terribly wrong, but I actually enjoy that. But I think maybe the character Gemma's a bit braver than me because I'm a wimp when it comes to scary things. I'm very jumpy, so she's a bit more like brave, and I don't know, push comes to shove, I definitely would save my friends, but yeah.
Well, I know we would have all fallen into that pitfall, the four of us here. So we were glad to see you do it first to tell us what we're not going to do. We're doing this show on Zoom, but after seeing Host, our next show is going to be on interpretive puppet theater. So we're going to abandon the Zoom concept. We had some wonderful characters in this, and I got to say that are you the only one that got outside? Because I think if I'm not mistaken, we had some outside shots of you. I think when you were throwing rocks at the window.
Yeah, so Emma, when she did when the stunt happened, so that was the stunt department. That she was outside, her stunt double was outside then. But yeah, I was outside throwing sticks. Actually, there was a call that I made on like the hottest day of May, where I was like on the phone on FaceTime to Douglas Cox, being like, "Is this stick okay? Oh, is this stick too hard? Will I break a window with this?" And so there was just like a lot of people watching me, being like, "Oh yeah, lockdown's really had an effect on this woman." Like in leggings and a jumper, and like one of the hottest days in spring, like just walked from my apartment all the way to Haley's in real life.
Wow. Well, good. We really enjoyed it. And like I said, I won't give away the ending, but if there's one person we were really cheering for, I think it was you. And we all related very, very well to Jemma. And so you're the type of gal that if we were all there, we'd all go out, get a beer together, and you could bring your dog. Yeah. And I'm going to hand it over to Haro now.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, let me congratulate you on the film. And like Ken said, all we see on Twitter is host. And it's funny because I think I watched the film first, and Ken mentioned, bringing somebody on for the show. And he just happened to say, I know there's going to be a buzz, and we kind of talked about it. There's going to be a buzz about this movie one way or the other. So we were ecstatic to have you on, and ecstatic that the movie ended up, as predicted, the big buzz. So what I want to know from you is some of the behind the scenes stuff. What is the most difficult thing that you had to do in preparation? Since I know, it seems that everybody had to do their own technical stuff. And what was it for you? And was it easy? Was it hard? What was some of the things going on behind the scenes?
I think the most difficult thing for me was the seance that we had in order to get the inspiration, because I had a book fall off my shelf, and I stood up like in the film immediately, but the real life Jemma just burst into tears crying, and then had her laptop like this, being like, "Yeah guys, I'm fine, yeah, fine, totally cool, let's just carry on." And then Douglas Cox, our producer, like the tone changed, and I was like, and it went really, really quiet, and everyone was like, "Okay, we should probably wrap up." And then in real life, the medium cut out. And then I was like, okay guys, so I was a bit more of a like Caroline, like, should we call her back, like what's happening? So that was actually quite difficult for me. And then obviously we were filming, we had our own equipment, we had this sort of like, everything was attached to our laptops, our audio interface, mics were attached onto us, and then we had camera on the phone camera on the back, and so we'd be able to move our laptops around. And then also we had like fishing wires, like Fort Knox, like in our flats. And if you didn't see it, they'd be like, you just move and everything would just fall off the walls. And because there were little things throughout the film where there were little sort of movements and little to see if anyone could notice anything. And then actually the hardest thing was because normally on a film set, like I've turned up on a film set and you're having hair and makeup done, and you're meeting everyone and you're shaking everyone's hand, you're hugging people. We couldn't do any of that. So we would, for me going over to Haley's place, I don't know how many spoilers I can say, so I'm just going to say not say any, so it's going to be really ambiguous. But when I go over to Haley's place, I couldn't go anywhere near her. So I'd never been to her apartment. So I just like walked in, looked like I was basically robbing the place, just like off the street with my leggings and my twigs and my bag. And then Haley, I was texting her, or whenever she had to tidy up anything. So there's a bit where there's a big mess and it all comes out. And she had to reset that every single time. So everything you saw come out of any cupboard had to be reset with every single bit of fishing wire. And I had to be 2 meters on the other side of the room being like, oh babe, you missed a tea bag. And she'd be like, shut up. And I'd be like, oh sorry, like I'm just trying to help, but like can't help because I can't get anywhere near her. So that was really hard because everything was a little bit slower. And we had like a paramedic outside, and there was a bit where I had to do a stunt, and so there was only one stunt guy, Nathaniel Martin from Lucky 13 Action, who was doing all these different stunts with me, but I was doing it also independently. So it was really like we had the support but not in person, so you did feel like very independent on everything that you were doing. So yeah, I think meeting people was the hardest thing.
Wow, that it's very interesting to see how that kind of came together. So I kind of was under the impression that you guys were solely doing this all alone, but you did have a few people. So you never had the writers or directors with you, but you had other people here and there with you?
Not in my house, no. Just when there was, so all the stunt department and riggers were together. And so they all lived together and worked together and had worked together on big shows and big films and stuff. So they were all helping each other. When we were doing stunts in someone else's apartment, there was only ever one person who would be in a space with you, always 2 meters and always in full PPE. So that was the only time. But like when I was at home, it was just, turn up in the morning with my coffee, and there would be Doug, Rob, and all the cast, and we'd start by watching a horror film. So I watched not very many horror films because I was so scared of them, and only testament to how talented like horror filmmakers are. In 2 weeks, I condensed every single horror film ever into 2 weeks. So I feel like I'm a little bit more, not to use a pun, but immune to horror films now. But yeah, it was like 2 weeks of watching horror films, then shooting, and then playing ABBA at the end of scenes to Dancing Queen to like reset. So it was fun.
Well, that I mean, for us, that's a fun time watching all those horror films. Kind of curious. So when you guys were doing this, did you have any, or how much freedom did you have in your lines and what you said, or was there a direct script? How much of it was freelance versus, okay, I have to follow, certain guidelines or total script?
Well, so Rob Savage is an incredible director, but him, Jed Shepherd and Gemma Hurley wrote us a script treatment, and so it had every single point in and where they wanted to go, except for everyone's deaths, which were redacted, and the lead up to the deaths were redacted. So we didn't know how anyone died until we were watching it live in the moment and reacting to it as it came to us. So all the deaths were filmed sort of first, so we could react to it later. And from that, we were improvising. So we would be told where we needed to go in the scene and the arc of the scene. And then everything in that the lines were coming from us improvising. And so all that chat at the start was improvising, asking questions. And then what Rob would do is he'd come up on our like little chat and he'd be like, tell Hayley she's a B. And then I'd be like, Hayley, you're, and then it'll be like, tell Jemma to shut up. And I'd be like, shut up. And I'd be like, oh, and then because everyone's such talented actors, all the girls are so talented, it'd be really fun because there would be a challenge. And then so you'd rise the challenge, and then Rob would be throwing in an extra challenge. So every time it was just this, we've all been to drama school together, and, you know, Emma, I know from a commercial beforehand, we've all been in a film together now, Multiplex by Jed Shepherd. So it was this beautiful, like, we had this really solid script, and then being able to improv around it, and then doing it with such talented actors. It was just a dream to be a part of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it very much seemed like you guys have been doing this for a long time. Zoom is kind of new. It's kind of new, at least to me, and maybe some of us else here on the program. So how new was Zoom, and how was your experience working with that, and then tying in the film? And did you guys have any, you know, like, I know when we record, sometimes it shuts down or one of us gets logged off. I mean, talk us through your experience with Zoom and how that helped affected the movie as well.
So there was a lot of test runs. Douglas Cox, who's fantastic, is, you know, he got us to do all these test runs over and over and over again. A lot of the time, I just was like, I don't know what's going on. So we actually had videos sent in this in a WhatsApp group that we had. We had different department WhatsApp groups, so we'd have videos of each different thing. Zoom actually lent itself so nicely to certain scenes. I mean, there was a scene in Caroline when something happened to her, and then a Zoom function came back, and which was like, oh god, really like made me feel like the first time I watched that live, I was like like it just was so emotional actually to watch. And so then there was other bits like the face filters and, you know, backgrounds and all these different things were actually really fun to play with, turning up mics. Also having Brenna, who was fantastic, who was our editor, she is a wizard. Like, she was just moving around these squares in the edit so that, you know, because our eyeline, every time we logged on in the morning, there was this, you know, we had the thing of like, where is everyone's eyelines? So she was just slicing that up together and putting it, and it just, that edit at the end, like what she came to like put together was fantastic. Like that was my biggest thing. I was like, how are we even going to put this together? Because we're constantly on screen, and being on Zoom, there's no respite. So we do 7 takes, but in those takes we'd be resetting about 7 times, whereas on a film set you go and change your hair and makeup, or you know you go and sit in your trailer while they do a lighting change, or so we had no respite, and it was just constantly on Zoom. So I think in many ways it was really helpful, but also in other ways it was new challenges that I'd never as an actress come up with. So there's new ways that we were finding that might not have been presented before.
Awesome. I mean, I could talk forever about all the background stuff and everything. Because I want to know so much more. But before I hand it off to Muse, I just have to say this is really weird. I'm just waiting for something to go wrong. I feel like I'm in the movie right now.
Horo's very specific about what we say now on our Zoom calls. Like, don't say that. Don't say that. You don't want to. It's all this movie's fault. He's ruined it for Zoom.
Yeah,
Find some kind of format now.
I told Ken, I said, you know, I don't know about the Zoom thing anymore. We just switched to it, and this movie has just ruined it.
You guys got candles. You should all light candles.
No, there's no way in hell.
Gemma, no, Gemma. Gemma, what are you looking at back there, Gemma? What was it?
My dog just came in. I believe we summoned this dog.
Well, let's see the dog. We got to see the dog now.
Percy, come here, Percy. Hold on, he's a demon, guys.
Oh, that is the horror of horrors right there. That little guy. Wow, so cute.
Back to spirit.
Go away, demon. Go away.
got wet, so he's now like freaking out, running around the house.
Oh wow.
So now that the demon is here, I'm gonna leave, and Muse, you can have fun.
Oh boy.
Make sure you cut the rope. Make sure you cut the rope.
Yes.
Yes.
I hope all of you guys put a bubble around you, because by proxy now you guys are part of a seance, because we never ended the original one.
Oh no. Well, you know, that's ironic that we're talking about that, because my question is going to be, and I don't know if you're like me, but have you ever had any scary seance Ouija board experiences with your friends, where your friends just want to get together and say, hey, let's do this, you know, how the slumber parties go, sometimes the sleepovers, and we're going to play light as a feather, stiff as a board, etc. Things like that.
Do you know what, actually, I was trying to be like, oh, I hadn't ever done a seance before this. But I went to an all-girls boarding school in the middle of Wales in the countryside, which was a creepy place as it was. And I think the reason why I'm scared of horror films is because I watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and all my posters in my dormitory, where apparently like there was someone had hung themselves, had fallen down, and I was like, you know, when the floor is lava, I was on the bunk bed. I was like, I'm not peeing now until it's daylight. Like I'm holding everything in. So we did light as a feather, stiff as a board, in like this creepy school uniform that was all like tartan, and it was just like these girls like all and pretending to do like all these kind of bits and bobs. But I think I stopped the idea of a Ouija board because from my mum's side, she's, you know, Chinese and very superstitious, so she was just like, my mum's always been like, don't do that. And so in my head I'm always like, when I did this I was like, oh god, my mum's gonna know. And I'm like, I'm 28 but I still have that thing of like, a lot of us have family members who are very much superstitious, actually. So a lot of the girls were like, oh, I'm not sure, like I'm a bit scared. But yeah, I think light as a feather, stiff as a board we did. What else was there? Oh, we watched Blair Witch Project in a tent camping.
Oh my goodness, that would have been awesome, but terrifying.
Looking back now, I'm not going to say that actually, because this is like, we're in a pandemic, that's a bit dangerous to like play that game. But looking back now, I'm like, oh, that was quite funny. But at the time, I thought I was going to die. That was terrifying.
Right.
I just couldn't move. And any noise, because when you're in a tent, any noise on the outside is just amplified, and it could be anything. So yeah, that was a stupid thing that I did when I was younger.
Oh, I love that movie. So, and I remember watching it, and I was laughing through most of it, because I thought, this is me and my friends trying to go for a hike in the woods or something. I mean, we're all lost. Everybody's fighting. Somebody's lost the map. And, you know, then it gets terrifying when things go wrong. So, you know, and it just really took a turn. So it was like, you know, all fun and games until everything started going crazy. So, I mean, watching it at 10, I would have been absolutely freaked out. It would have been an interesting experience, though. So we talked about scary movies for a second there. So what would you say, what horror movie scared you the most or left the biggest impression on you, would you say? Where you're like, okay, I may be scarred for life after seeing this.
I think Blair Witch. I don't know if I don't know if you guys have got siblings, but my brother used to do this thing where he wouldn't jump out at you, but he'd stand somewhere in the house staring at a wall. And so you'd be like, da, 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 and then you'd like walk past him, and then you'd sort of see him in the corner of your eye and turn around. And that, I think just that kind of energy just freaks me out. But I think Blair Witch, and also because of what happened afterwards, the exorcism, I don't even remember what happened in that, because I think I've just, PTSD is like mentally blocked that from my brain. But I honestly, I think Blair Witch was really scary. And The Ring. When we watched The Ring, we watched it on a VCR, and it was again at this girls' boarding school, and weird things happened. So when we pulled out the tape, obviously white noise came up. Then everyone like ran out of this like room, and then later on there was a fire alarm, and we were all standing outside in the front of this old Edwardian building in our like pajamas. It's like this all-girls school, and it's very tiny. And then the house phone rang, and then the teacher was like, hello, and then was like, who was that? And then we all were just like, for the rest of the night we were like sleeping with our like hockey sticks in bed, just like actually terrified. So I think those were the ones that I watched that I just freaked out at. They were so good. They're so good, but like so scary.
Yes, I love to be scared, and it's like this. I just the more scarier the better. So I love a good film that's going to kind of stick with me. We talked for a second about how Host came about, and it was a prank that Rob pulled on all of you. Can you tell us a little more detail about that? How that all went down? With how he kind of set you guys up. I kind of wanted to hear the full story on that. We talked about it briefly, but I kind of wanted to hear the full story on what exactly happened there.
Yeah, so we were all like at home and everyone was just like, why does like Jed and Rob, why are they pushing this Zoom conversation on us? And as I was saying, like I'd had a really bad day and I just was like, okay, I'll take my blister plasters off my face, which by the way, guys, genius invention. And so then I was like, I got on and I had my like white hoodie, which was very like in the film, and I just was like, okay, what? And then we were chatting, and then Rob was like, I've been hearing noises in my attic. And then he was like, I think I've got a step ladder from my neighbor. I think I'm actually going to go up. And then he went to the knife drawer and got out like this giant kitchen knife. And we were all like, no, mate, like we're in lockdown. There's nothing, you're on your own. Like this could go terribly wrong. Don't take a knife up. Like, even if there's nothing in your attic, the clumsiness, let alone, is terrifying. So he puts the knife down. Then we're all like musing, like, oh, there could be mutant rats, there could be whatever, because we're in London and rats here are ginormous, and also they're starting to eat each other because they've not got food, because there's no restaurants open. So that's another horrifying thing that's happening in London. And then so he climbs up this ladder, and then it cuts to, I believe, wreck, and it's just the scanning of the attic, and then this goblin jumps out, and then it cuts to Rob falling off the ladder, and no one questioned this because the phone lands perfectly on his side so we can see his feet, because in the real life it would like land this way or this way, and so we just see Rob's feet like that, and then I laugh because my default when I'm scared is laugh.
Yep.
And it's the worst thing because people think you're having a great time and you're you're not having a good time. And so I started laughing, and then everyone who had seen it was like, oh my God, is Rob okay? Should we call the police? And then I was like, oh my God, are goblins real? And then so I was like, oh, we should definitely call the police. Like, let's call the police. And so as I start to call the police, Rob's like, surprise. To which I went, you bastard. I was like, what have you done? I was like, this is not a good day. Now we're being tricked. I was like, is there no privacy, or is there no like friendship thing of like, it's a bad time right now? So that was Rob's prank, and it was genius and brilliant, and he's a genius. And then it went viral very, very quickly, and got the attention of Shudder. So we're very lucky for even though I'm still like, one day I said to him, in the next 6 years, I'm going to get you back.
Right,
so
exactly. Revenge.
Years, and 6 years is a long time. But apart from that, I'm like, thanks, dude. Thanks for giving us a heart attack.
Right. Friends are awesome like that. I could see one of my co-hosts pulling something like that. Ken,
oh, it's in the works. Trust me. I got some.
I can see that devilish streak. So yeah, I'm going to pass it back to Ken. I think he has a few more questions for you, but I love talking to you. I love the film. I didn't say that earlier. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I love films like that. I thought it was so creative, and we all loved it. And we've been waiting and we love that we got to talk to you about it. And it was just an amazing film. And I hope there's a sequel. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I want more. I hope there is.
Well, this Zoom space.
Yeah, as long as there's Zoom, there's going to be something.
Yeah.
So Jemma, like, I was going through your filmography and just looking to see some of the films you did, and I'm just blown away because I like I said before, unfortunately, I didn't know much about you until Host came out. And then obviously you've done some really great films, and most importantly, one of my favorite superhero films, you were in Wonder Woman. Can you talk a little bit about that? I'm just so curious about it.
Yeah. So Wonder Woman was such a cool process. Like, so I was an action rider. Then really cool thing is that while I was an action rider, we got called to Warner Brothers studio, and we had a marquee right next to where they were filming the Harry Potter Oh, what are the new Harry Potter films called?
There's like two of them. The Deathly I don't remember.
The newest ones with Eddie Redmayne.
Oh, Fantastic Beast and Where to Find Him.
Fantastic
Yeah.
Beasts. Yes, they were filming Fantastic Beasts, all the like the New York City right next to where our little marquee was, and we had all the horses come out with all of our armor on.
Mm-hmm.
And Patty Jenkins and the producers come in the middle of this marquee, and all of the riders ride around, and then each of us sort of do a little audition and a shake hand of Patty Jenkins, and then the next morning I turn up at the stables where we're training and we're doing all this like rearing and action fighting, and you know I get one of the stunt women comes up to me and she goes like, Gemma, you got cast in the film based on what we did yesterday. And I was like, what? This is so
Wow.
cool. And then we trained, and then we went to Italy and we filmed for a month. And you know the scene where we were riding on the beach?
Yeah.
That is something I will never forget. Like the whole team was super cool. These women were super strong, and there was just stunts going on everywhere. And we had this green screen arch, and I was waiting. My heart was like going.
Mm-hmm.
And this beautiful horse, beautiful white stallion, and I was just like, okay, this is gonna be epic. But I didn't actually anticipate how epic it was gonna be, because this, you know, the AD comes up and is like, okay, girls, you're gonna ride through the arch, and on the other side there's gonna be Germans, and then there's gonna be channels, and you're gonna ride through the Germans. An amazing sentence in itself. But when we go through, and we were like, and it was such a long ride that I was like, charge, and then halfway through I was like, charge, and we come through this arch, and there was fire on the beach, there was explosions going off, there were no channels for the Germans, there was just boats on fire and horses flipping over, and we got to the end and I was just like, that was the coolest. And you're looking from side to side as you're charging through, and you're just like, this is the coolest thing I'm probably ever going to experience in my life. And I was sharing it with all these incredible women, and then you can just hear them like up in Studio Village just losing their minds because it was such a good shot. So that was probably the coolest thing I've ever done.
Well, it's cool because, you know, I like I said, I'm a really big superhero movie fan, and my little sister, like she flew out to New York to watch Wonder Woman with me, and it was like I walked out of there thinking like, that is like an awesome film. Like I loved what they did with it. I can't wait for the next one. But I'm looking at your resume as well, and you seem to be doing a lot of the action films, and then you do host, right? So I got to ask you, what did you like more? Do you like more of that horror genre, or do you like more of like, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to kick somebody's ass, I'm going to wear this awesome armor like you did? I see a picture of you in the armor in Wonder Woman, and then in Doom, you look like a badass, right? But then I see you here, like I did as on host, and you're like this sweet woman. So what is it? Like, is it a little bit of both, or what?
I think it's I'm a multi-dimensional human being.
Yeah.
I think I can kick some ass, but also, you know, hang out with some demons. Like I definitely love. I got into acting at a very young age,
Mm-hmm.
and creating and filmmaking at a very young age, because I loved it so much, and I loved what you could do with so little. And I think host is that, and host shows everyone that. But yeah, I love kicking ass, because kicking ass is fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved using weapons. Like when we were filming Doom Annihilation, I got to shoot like blanks out of an AK-47. And then I was like, but also at the same time, I ate raw chicken earlier that day, and I was like, this could be a really bit of a roller coaster day. While you co-host. And then got to do some really cool fight scenes in Doom, but then host is something where I get to exercise my acting muscles, and
Mm-hmm.
and I loved it because I actually got to show a range of my acting, because you know you get cast in things where you have to be really sensitive or you have to be really vulnerable, and I think host showed, like I exercised as much as I could of many of those different things. I could kick ass by the end of host, but at the beginning, you know, I was prodding and poking and I was in a bad mood. But in the middle, there was these moments of vulnerability and emotion and sadness. So I loved that side of it. And horror is something I'm only just exploring and getting into. And I have to say, I respect horror actors so much. The amount of crying that I did in this film, the amount of like yelling, is just the stamina that you have to have. I had no eyeballs one day. I came home and I was like, I have raisins for eyes. I literally got, you know, when you get like chapped lips, I got chapped water lines. Like I came in the next day and I was like, Doug, my water lines on my eyes are chapped. And I was like, can you see this on camera? And he was like, the quality's not going to be, you know, as great as a HD camera, so you're good. So yeah, I have like Scream Queens. They have some stamina, but yeah, I really liked the variety in this film, and I liked that I got to do a stunt with I can't say, but something happened to me, but I really liked doing that. It was fun. I had it 8 times happen to me.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Did you get hurt at all doing, because you do get a little physical in the film, I guess by yourself maybe, but yeah, did you get hurt at all, or did you walk away scratch free, or how did that work out?
Yeah, I walked away scratch. I mean, Nathaniel Martin and Lucky 13 Action were really safe stunt. I mean, we rehearsed a lot before it happened, but by the end, I was like, guys, I'm starting to like feel a bit of ringing in my ear. I think we should take a 5-minute break, and obviously they're so professional. They were like, yeah, of course. They were like, we got the shot 4 shots ago. We just wanted to watch you.
Oh wow. Well, listen, it's a great film, especially just the current state of the world right now, where we can't get out and do these big budget films or these explosions and stuff. But you've given you and the crew with Rob and whatnot have given us horror fans something that we can connect to, because as we do on Where the Scary Things Are, we do all these interviews via Zoom, and it's great because it's like we're talking face to face and whatnot. But the idea is just awesome, and it worked out perfect. We felt like we were on the Zoom call with you. I watched this. Horo recommended that I watch this movie with my headphones on and in the dark, and I almost watch all my films like that. So I was terrified. And as I got to tell you the story, as I'm watching it, I'm on my laptop. I'm watching the film, and I'm focused on it, right? And all of a sudden, I look to my left, and my daughter is right there. It's like midnight, and she's just standing right there. I'm like, what are you doing? Scared the shit out of me. But yeah, so she said, what are you watching? I was like, no, go to bed. You can't watch this. So trust me, I've been caught watching worse. But anyway, so she went to bed, but it was great. And I thank you for it. So you scared the crap out of me. So now on the Where the Scary Things Are, we like to scare the crap out of you. So here's what we do. We like to do a horror trivia challenge. We call it the Deathly 13. 13 trivia questions of random horror movies or genre. We don't know what they are. Horo, Chris, and myself have no idea what these questions are. Muse, on the other hand, does, because like all women in our lives, they like to torment us. So you are now going to be on our side. But we have an Amazon on our side, Muse, so we're going to come in with it, and we're coming with a thunder. 13 questions. You get 3 lifelines. You can ask either one of us for help, or you can ask for multiple choice, or you can postpone it. So knock it out of the park. We wish you well. Muse, take it away.
All right. Are you ready? All right. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to jump right in with the first question and ask you. Now, some people might say this isn't horror. I think it's horror because this is very realistic. What American filmmaker is generally credited with making the blockbuster movie from 1975 when he directed Jaws?
Oh my God, I'm so bad at these things.
Remember,
yeah, we didn't. Did we explain the lifelines to her?
Yeah, you can ask each of us at one time throughout the trivia contest. Chris, Horo, or myself.
I'm blanked because I feel really under pressure on the questions.
I told you we're gonna scare you a little bit. So it's revenge. Repeat the question, Muse, real quick, so I get it right.
What American filmmaker is generally credited with making the first blockbuster movie in 1975 when he directed Jaws? Now, she also has the other lifelines are multiple choice, or you can postpone the question until later in case you may think of it.
Multiple choice.
Okay, multiple choice. Was it Wes Craven, Tobe Hooper, or Steven Spielberg? Steven Spielberg. That is correct. All right.
I'm so bad at this. I couldn't even tell you my date of birth under a question.
All right. You're doing all right. Question 2. What year was the blockbuster horror film The Witch released?
Oh, wow. can I ask for like hints?
It's in the last 5 years. Let's just say it's exactly, well, 5. Well, that's giving it totally away.
I've got it. 2015.
Yes. Yeah.
There
I'm
you
like, how can
go.
I say this without saying 5 too many times? All right. Yes. 2015. Correct. Okay. Question 3. I'm going to give you a movie synopsis, and I'm going to ask you after I'm finished reading which movie you think I'm speaking of. All right. I have a feeling that Ken may know this one, just kind of throwing that out there.
Maybe. We'll see.
So just listen up, Ken. All right. A police lieutenant investigates a series of murders that have the hallmarks of a long deceased serial killer. When his investigation leads him to a psychiatric hospital, the lieutenant must confront a demon from his past in this 1990 horror film.
There's a hint right there. It's the third in the franchise.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Did we talk about it during the interview for a second?
Yes,
we did. You did mention this movie.
I think
you
so.
did mention the first one.
Oh,
No. No.
I've mentioned it.
Think demons.
Think the scariest movie in the world ever made, in my opinion.
Demons.
And then this is the third one of that franchise.
I mentioned demons. Okay, I'm gonna
8.
miss out. Ken.
I'll give you a hint. George C. Scott was in this movie. And he played Detective Kinderman. No?
No.
Okay. The
People are gonna. This is
Exorcist 3. Exorcist 3.
Yep, that is The
That's
Exorcist Part 3.
I had to give it. Love. If you haven't seen this, Gemma, go back and watch it because it is a brilliant movie. It's not as scary as the first one. Really, really good movie. Period. Like it's really good. Yeah. It's a little scary.
How many glasses of wine am I gonna need?
Probably
Couple.
yeah.
Many.
There is one scene that they do say it's the scariest scene in all of horror. Like it's a pop scene. It just comes out of nowhere. Please, I want you to watch this, Gemma, and then get back to me and just tell me how you liked it. Please do that. Do that favor for me.
The reaction video.
Yeah. So we're gonna give you a yes on that one because I got it. We got it right. So you're on question 4.
Okay, question 4. What is the name of the masked killer in the Friday the 13th series?
Chris Zisi. No, that's not right.
Oh my god. Okay, Chris. Can I ask?
Jason Voorhees, right?
Jason Voorhees. That is correct. Friday the 13th. All right. Moving on. I'm gonna go with another movie synopsis on this one. And I'm gonna give you a hint before I read it. It's a Stephen King. It's based on a Stephen King novel. All right. A teenage outcast develops telekinetic powers, much to the dismay of her classmates and religious zealot mother in this 1976 film.
Say it again, Muse. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it all.
A teenage outcast develops telekinetic powers.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay.
I think there's a pretty epic prom scene, pretty fiery prom scene.
Harry.
Carrie, yes, it is.
Good job,
Carrie,
Gemma.
yeah. I was like, where I'm thinking hint. I'm thinking prom from hell.
Yeah. John Travolta.
Okay, this is one that we were actually. I didn't know how well somebody might do with this one, but I actually fashioned this question because I know my co-hosts will definitely know this one as well. We talked about this on a previous show, and it's kind of like a little Easter egg in the movie Evil Dead 2. So here's the question. Question 5. What prop from another 1980s horror franchise can be seen hanging on the wall of the tool shed in Evil Dead 2 from 1987?
Is it an axe?
Think nightmares.
An arrow gun thing.
Think killer
Oh,
that
it's
stalks-
bad, like not a weapon.
Yeah, it's what this particular killer uses to slay his victims.
So what's happening right now in our Zoom chat, guys, is everyone is doing like movement. It's not
Say that again.
Oh, your shit, Claw. Yeah, I will
It's
take
so
Claw.
bad. This is
Yeah.
like the worst. What's it called? When you do like
Yeah.
Grades.
yes, this is like charades for horror things.
Hey, we're not doing anything. What are you talking about? That was all you, Gemma. You do it.
I love it. It was Freddy's glove is on the wall there, and it's kind of a little Easter egg there in Evil Dead Part 2, kind of a little nod to the film. And I believe there's Easter egg in one of the Nightmare on Elm Street. I think the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie too. I'm not sure. I think there is, or is it vice versa? I don't know. I'm gonna get confused now. I got up too early. But, yeah, that was like a little Easter egg there in Evil Dead Part 2. All right. So we are on question 6.
I'm sorry. Did she get that right? She didn't get
Yeah,
that
she said claw. I'm gonna take that.
right. Okay.
I
We'll
like
take
that. That's
I thought
good.
Okay. That's fine.
We're giving it.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're on question. Are we on question 7? Okay. All right. I'm gonna give you another movie synopsis and just tell me what movie you think I'm speaking of. Just if you know it before I finish it, shout it out. 5 friends visit an abandoned family home in rural Texas, only to run into a giant with a chainsaw and his deranged family in this 1974 film.
And she said 2 of the words of the title in this.
Giant
Say where was it at? Where did they visit?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
There you go.
Yes. All right. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes. All right. All right. So this is kind of for our next, for the 8th question, this is kind of like a little bit of a different spin on the horror trivia, because this actually mentions a non-horror film, but it has a scene in it that could be considered scary. All right. So it says horror can show up in unexpected places, like when the Nazis opened the Ark of the Covenant in this 1981 film.
Is it Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Which
I'm
one?
gonna say yeah. No. I'm gonna give it to
Is
her.
she gonna get? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to her.
All right. It was Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes,
Raiders of the
Indiana
Lost Ark,
Jones. Yes.
She got it.
All right. All right. Question 9. What is the name of the character made famous by Bruce Campbell in the movie Evil Dead? What is his actual character's name? I'll just take the first name.
I want to say Ken. I don't know why.
I wish.
That would fit.
Yeah. Hail to the king, baby. It rhymes with mash, like Monster Mash, but it's not all, but 3 letters.
Smash, Tash,
Ash. Yes, Ash.
Yes.
You got it the second time. Yes, Ash.
I didn't hear Ash, but that's okay. I'll say that you got it.
Yeah, I definitely said it, guys. Come on.
She said smash, ash, crash.
Oh, she did. Okay. All right. Good.
All right. So I believe we on question 10, 11. Okay, 10. In what year was the original A Nightmare on Elm Street released?
That's a good one. Give her some. You know what? I'm gonna pull rank here. Give her 3 options.
Okay. Was it 1981, 1982, or 1984?
One of those is not like the other.
Right.
84.
Yes, that
Good
is
job.
correct. It
Yeah.
was 1984. All right. Oh, let's see. All right. Question 11. The actor Sean Bean played Christopher De Silva in what 2006 film? Now I'm going to give you a hint. It's based off of a horror video game. Very popular horror video game that isn't Resident Evil.
Oh, I don't know what this is actually. I'm stumped. Horo, do you know what this one is? No, Chris.
I think a lot of radios with static.
I think I know what it is. Is it start with an S?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to hear any silence on this one, Gemma. You can do it. The best. What was that movie called? Notting Hill with Hugh Grant. That the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's giving you like it's
Wait.
like charades.
No silence. Notting Hill is the best movie I've ever seen.
That may have confused everybody more.
I know, all right.
What?
Yeah, you could take a loss on this one if you want. You did pretty good so far, so you can afford.
This will be the
taking-
first miss.
Wait, she has.
Oh yeah, Omar.
Oh,
Yeah, Omar
oh,
actually.
you
yeah,
still
she has
have
to
one
use
more
Omar.
lifeline. You have one more lifeline.
Yes, please, please.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill. Yes.
Silent Hill. Notting Hill. That was a stretch.
Well, Hill, silent. I said no silence, silent, and then Notting Hill. Yeah, it made sense in my head. Okay, it made sense in my head.
Never ever give anyone directions.
Oh, you're not too wrong about that. Actually, I was like, I don't know. Use your phone.
All right. Okay. Question 12, or is this the last one?
Yeah, you're 12. You're on 12.
Okay. True or false? Comedic actor Paul Rudd played a grown-up Tommy Doyle in Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers from 1995. Is that true or false?
False.
It's true. He played Tommy Doyle, and probably the only horror movie I've seen him in. He was great. I mean, that was like my favorite part of the movie. I love that movie, but I love that he was in it.
Gemma, don't worry, Gemma, because okay, this is the last question. You have the last question. It's worth 2 points. So if you get this one right, you actually go 13 for 13. Okay, don't get it wrong though.
All right, no pressure.
We'll make sure you don't get it wrong. I hope.
Okay, I'm going to give you another true or false. So it's like a 50-50. So true or false? One of the puppets in the movie Puppet Master from 1989 vomits slugs into its victims' mouths.
True.
True. It is true. Yes. Very disgusting and awesome and all kinds of great. You did great.
Well done, Gemma. 13 for 13. You get the bonus question right, so it saves you. I told you were going to do well. I mean, you had no help at all. You're an expert at horror trivia. Yeah. I mean, come on.
I just did that all by myself.
You're awesome. You did
Well,
great.
Gemma, thank you so much. This opportunity we want to give you now is just to kind of talk about what's in the queue for you. What are you working on? What can we expect from you in the next couple of weeks? I know COVID is have a damper on the film industry, but what are you working on, and where can we find you on social media?
So I've been working on so me and Caroline Ward, actually, we have our own production company called It Girls Productions. So we've got a series coming out, a comedy series called It Girls, Redefining the It Girl. Stalling It is the first in that, where we're all bridesmaids in the 90s, 80s in a toilet talking. And then I've got my podcast called The Hobbycast. So we just launched the second season, done on Zoom like you guys. And I talk about hobbies. I actually talk about a haunted house. Is it McCready's? The one with the 40-page waiver where like death is like one of the things that it's like, if you die, that's not my fault. And you have to sign that before you go.
The waiver, right. You have to sign the waiver.
So that's a 40-page waiver where they also pull out your teeth. So anyway, that's something that I have been doing and has come out. And you can find me on Instagram, Jemma_Moore, Jemma with a J, Moore spelled like Roger Moore, not related. And then my Twitter is Jemma__Moore. And then for the Hobbycast, it's at the Hobbycast across the board. And It Girls Production is at It Girls Productions. So come and follow me and find me and probably update me on my trivia because I need to.
Well, you did well, man. I
much to do.
Well, listen, on behalf of Where the Scary Things Are, Gemma, thank you so much. And I got to throw one more plug in, which is one real quick. Chris the Creature is a writer. He's an author. He writes these brilliant books. And I can just see you playing one of his lead characters, Talon Go, who is an action femme fatale, beautiful woman. This is the role that you were born for. It's up to Chris to cast you, though.
Indeed. If anybody wants to make a movie of it, I'm going to make a requirement that they got to cast Jemma Moore as Talon Go. You would be perfect at it. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, please. Send it my way. Can I read this somehow?
Yeah. Ken, if you can get an address from her, I'll have one sent to her.
You got it, bud. Gemma, thank you so much, as always. We wish you nothing but success, and we love the movie, and thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me on. It's been so much fun. And you guys are where the scary things are. So I found where all the scary things are, and it's here on the Zoom chat, guys. So thank you so much. Now I'm gonna probably do like an exorcism where I trap you all in a bottle, like in some Buffy the Vampire thing.
I'm gonna cut the rope. I'm gonna cut the rope
Cut
right
the
now.
rope,
What is
cut the
that?
rope. Everyone
Horo's over there like, no.
Don't do it.
Your setting, by the way, before you even came in the room, like you left the room, and the framing is the perfect horror framing. Like though all of the doors behind you, I was like, something's got to come out of there. And then you came out of a door, and I was like, ah.
That was not done on purpose.